Hello everyone, it's Brian Cost of the Cost of Crypto. Welcome to episode 13. Today, as I was going through my Twitter feed and just looking at some of the commentary, people were examining, and apparently there's been some, as there normally is, talk about Bitcoin being in the price consolidation right now. It's been in the 50s range, the mid 50s range for 2 weeks, maybe going on 3 now. And people have been questioning things. Is it going up? Is it going down? Looking at charts, where the price is going to go. And one of the things it reminded me of was taking me back to the bear market. Because inevitably, with crypto, as there's a bull market, there's also a bear. It's part of the 4-year cycle. So once we've had this big run up, there's going to be a bear market. People are going to cash out. It's a natural thing. And putting what I learned from being fully into the space in early 2017, going through the huge run up, and then the ensuing bear market where prices were down, depending on what projects, 75% to 90%. That experience and looking at what's happening today, things that I see today that I did not see in 2017 because I didn't have that experience, relates to how we buy, how to buy into a project. I seem to have come into a bit of a strategy where if there's a project that grabs my interest, I'll just put something in anything. $25, $10. If I'm willing to give up some Bitcoin, maybe exchange $50 worth for that given token. And in the meantime, I do my due diligence. I'm keeping an eye on prices. I'm keeping an eye on the bigger picture with the crypto space, what the trends at large are, what is the adoption news and adoption trends, and determining what an accurate price is. What an accurate price is. When I think about this recent bull cycle, I've seen a pattern, and I'll try to remember to post this somewhere, but I'll throw out some examples. Cardano, the ADA tokens went from around a 12-cent range, 12 to 20 cent range, 25 cent range, pulled back into the teens, and then had a crazy run up to about $1.20, where as of right now, that's been its range. When I think about engine tokens, which are used for gaming platforms, they're also being used for NFTs, non-fungible tokens. That has had a run up going from around, 50 cents or so, going into the low $2. And then recently, with an integration, I saw the news, I'm trying to remember the headline off the top of my head, where I know it got additional funding to expand into NFT markets. That took a leap this week into the $3 range. When I think about Theta tokens, this is something I've watched since 2017, 2018, when it was in the teens, and now it's $12. That one had a crazy run up over the last 6 months, and a lot of this was driven by NFT craze. Wax tokens, which is a platform for trading collectibles such as sports cards. That one's had a run up where not 3 months ago it was in the 2-cent range. Now it's around 40, 50 cents. I think about a lot of projects where money rushes in all of a sudden and bumps up the price. What's going to happen with these is as the bull market ensues, and right now at this age, at this point of maturity in the cycles, so much is tied to Bitcoin. When Bitcoin starts rallying, the other coins and the rest of the market seems to follow. when Bitcoin, eventually in time, some of these projects are going to gain enough traction and enough adoption that they'll be correlated to the movements to the general trading markets, but they're going to have more action independent from it and solely from the success of the project itself. The first one I can think of would be Ethereum, where that one is sort of, they move in tandem with Bitcoin, but they also, it has some independence from the general market and Bitcoin. But as for today, when Bitcoin goes up and makes its next run up, I can feel the energy starting to build. There's a bit of a disbelief building, so it's getting to be about time for another run up. All these projects out there will get additional run up. And one thing I've noticed that happens is there's a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of coin jumping from altcoin to altcoin, trying to get the biggest winner, which to me is trading. That's trading. And then what will happen is by the end of the bull cycle, the prices for a lot of projects, pretty much all the projects in the entire market, are going to pull back. It's just part of the natural cycle. Can't fight it, can't beat it, can't change it. There's going to be a pullback. The projects that had the most hype, that were built the most on enthusiasm and speculation and what if, are the ones that are going to pull back the hardest and get hardest hit. And now, everyone, a brief pause for our show sponsor. The projects that are genuinely doing something, and these are the projects that you want to do your research on. What comes to my mind are your engines, your wax, your, what's the new NFT one? Was for esports. Chili's? I think that's how it's pronounced. That's another one that had a huge run up in the last few months. Projects that actually have wheels to the road, that are actually doing things. They're not just, well, we have a platform and we have potential, but we're actually cutting deals. We're actually getting implementation. We're starting to get more and more network effect where more people are adopting this platform and using the tokens. Those are the ones that they're going to pull back too, but they're not going to pull back as much. And when the market recovers, they're going to recover better. They'll be some of the leaders. So looking at this, how would I invest? How do I decide to put money in? Well, in the bull market, it's know your projects. Do your reading. Watch YouTube videos, read articles, read white papers, follow the news. Become familiar with these projects, what they do, who's involved, what they're working on, what the technology is. As many details as you are capable of sucking in. That'll help you to know these projects and put it into the larger context. So you understand, as I say with all other things, when there's news headlines that have some sort of detrimental effect, you understand, okay, this is what it's going to do, but it's no big deal because it's going to recover. Or, oh, that's just FUD. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, for anyone who's not familiar with FUD, F-U-D. Whatever it is, you'll have a better understanding of it. My own personal approach is to invest in a project. In 2017, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I jumped around from coin to coin to coin, and all I did was lose value. It all, pardon my language, but it all got pissed away. And the one thing I learned in the 2018-2019 bear market was educate yourself and just stick with it. And I mean, just seeing this slow grinding process, it's called the sandpaper stage, heralds back to stock market days where prices in a market, they'll froth up and then they'll drop. And the old saying is never try and catch a falling knife. If the prices are falling, you don't buy. You wait until the knife hits the ground. You have a dead cat bounce, because there's another saying, a dead cat bounces at least once. You get your dead cat bounce where the price will stop dropping, go up, but then the people who couldn't get out when the price was falling, that's their moment, that's their window to exit, and then the price goes back down. And it's not until the price is going sideways, not going up, not going down. No one cares about it, no one's interested, and that's why the price is going sideways, which is called the sandpaper stage, because it just slowly, like rough sandpaper running over you, grinds people down. When the prices are in that sandpaper stage, that's what really tests you. But it's in those times during bear markets that you need to be listening to your podcasts, following the news, do your reading, see what's going on. And then you reach a point where we are today where when you see the market and you see how prices are moving, you see how people are learning, you have this new generation of people coming into the space. Well, I hate saying this, but in this bear market, a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, they're going to get their asses handed to them because they're going to panic, not having a bigger picture to fall back on and knowing what's going on. All they're going to see are prices are going down, which, to be fair, some people are in just to make a buck. They don't care about long-term things. They don't care about long-term investing. They don't care about the principles of a project or what they're trying to do. They just say, hey, this is the rider, this is the winner, this is the horse I want to ride and place my bet on, and now it's gone south. And so they cut their losses and run. A lot of people, they'll get their asses handed to them. But if you're being smart, if you're investing where you want to grow wealth, cryptocurrency is still a project right now. It's still in a stage with implementation on the global level with the entirety of human society and civilization, that you can afford to invest in good projects and just sit on them. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing. Right now I'm looking at, well, what's involved with NFT and tradables and DeFi. So I'm looking at Uniswap. I want to learn more about that. I'm looking at Wax tokens. I want to learn more about that. I've bought and owned Engine tokens because to me that's a solid project. They've been around. They've been through a bear market and they continue to grow. Their network effect is growing. Holding on to that one. So it's taking these little bits step by step and making what you can out of it by holding on, being smart during the bull cycles, knowing that, okay, there's going to be a run-up, prices will go up, but there's no harm in buying pullbacks. If you're looking to hold for a long time, it's just one entry point. If you're doing dollar cost averaging, which has consistently been showing to be the best strategy. Dollar cost averaging is just every month, every week, at a set interval, you put in a set dollar amount so that when prices go up, you're not spending, you don't get as much, but when prices go down, you get more of it. So that in the end, you get a more average and balanced price. You can take advantage of the highs and the lows in price movement. And when the bear market comes, you can buy in when the prices are going down, but understand that it may not recover for some time. Will the next bear market be longer, be shorter? I have no idea. Will it be shallower? I have no idea. Part of me thinks it might only be a 50% pullback, simply because a lot of people who may have been hesitating, well, a lot of people are hesitating like, oh gosh, should I buy in? The price keeps going up. If the price is going down, they're not going to be the type of people that say, oh, the price is going down, now it's back on sale. They're going to say, oh, the price is going down, gosh, I don't want to get back into this. You know, they don't have that resiliency to handle price movements. I'm going to give you an example about something to keep in mind. Probably a year or so ago, I was listening to a podcast, a little bit more than a year ago. I was listening to a podcast. A guy was talking about how in his earlier days in the financial sector, he was a stockbroker in a small firm. One of his clients was an older woman, I believe in her 70s, maybe 80s. And he was reviewing her portfolio with her. And it turned out that she owned a lot of shares of Walmart, but they were held in the paper certificate, and that paper certificate was in a safety deposit box. So he asked her, hey, can you bring it in? We'll make copies, and I just want to see how many shares you have and such. And the backstory on it was that the woman's sister had worked for Walmart in its early days in the mid-70s. And as an incentive for her to work for Walmart, employees at the time were offered shares of stock. And her sister had these shares of stock. Well, she had died. She passed on the certificate to the woman in question here. And when, at the time that this guy was reviewing it with her, they were worth at least $1.5 million. And then as he's retelling the story to the interviewer, he points out this woman, her wealth in this stock had experienced at least 2 or 3 50% declines in overall wealth. She experienced a loss of $500,000 in a bear market. But because it was out of sight, out of mind, she didn't have that knowledge to have to contend with. With crypto, you're going to be very visible with it. But on the road to building wealth, on the road to where we are with implementation, with the value of these tokens, there's going to be declines. And do your research, DYOR, do your own research, because you'll know and you'll see why Bitcoin, each time it comes back stronger, why more people invest in it, why it does well, why it's growing, why there's more network effect, why it's more implementation, why people are building on it. We're still in the earlier stages. If you missed out on the first 12 years, don't fret. Think about the next 8 to 10, the next 2 4-year cycles. That's what you should be focusing on. And right now, the trend still continues upward for implementation. And there's bigger wallets, bigger hands. We're going to have more user and taxation legislation coming out in the next few years, and that'll help with this. So do your own research. I think I've reached the end of the road with this particular line of thought. Went on a little bit longer than I thought. Thought it'd be only about 5 minutes. Lo and behold, it's longer than that. So wrapping up with this. Thanks for listening. You can follow along TINYCRYPTOBLOG.com. I'm on all the social media sites listed in the show notes. If you have any questions or comments, you can shoot me a message at hello@tinycryptoblog.com. And with that, I'll say be well, everyone. Talk to you soon. Nothing I say should be intended or be taken as investment advice. I am not an investment professional, and everything I share is my own opinion, and it's for entertainment and educational purposes only.